Jerusalem Winery for this event, and I hope you try it. It's great. So we are here today in Yemin Moshe. So every day I call my mom and I share with her my experiences. And I told her last night that I'm giving a speech in Yemin Moshe. So she tells me, "Oh, Ezra, by the way, you know that your grandparents were introduced in Yemin Moshe. They were living here, but they didn't know each other. So there was a shidduch, and they got married here in this neighborhood." This is a story I just learned last night. So thank you for coming, guests, friends of Jerusalem, and lovers of Israel. There are speeches that are prepared with facts, and there are speeches that are written with blood, memory, and destiny. Today, I want to tell you a story, not only about Jerusalem, but about how Jerusalem shaped my family across generations, long before I was born. I stand before you today as the ambassador of Panama in Israel. Well, before diplomacy, before titles, before embassies, there was Jerusalem. Jerusalem is not just the capital of the Jewish people. For my family, Jerusalem was survival. Jerusalem was sacrifice. Jerusalem was identity. So my story begins with my great-grandfather, Yaakov Yitzhaki. He was a simple man. He was a roofer, fixing roofs and building landlines for telephones in Jerusalem. Most of his clients were Arabs. One day, returning from job with my grandfather, at that time my grandfather was 13 years old, a mob of Arabs approached my great-grandfather and killed him. 19 stabs in front of my grandfather. Imagine this moment. A young boy standing helplessly, watching his father being stabbed in front of his eyes. That trauma did not disappear. It became part of the DNA of our family. My grandfather returned home shattered. He stood in silence, and after some time, he said words that would define the entire generation. Only after defending my people could I sit down and mourn my father. That sentence explains Jerusalem better than any political analysis ever could. My grandfather later became one of the founders of the transportation company called Amekasher, which eventually turned into Eged, helping connecting Jerusalem and build the infrastructure of the future of the Jewish state. And history has unbelievable sense of symbolism. The workshop of bus number 3 once stood exactly where I live today. So we arrived with Linda, my wife, at 2 o'clock in the morning for the first time as the ambassador of Panama. And we rented an apartment in a place in Jerusalem, which I had no idea where it was. And we arrived at 6 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, I want to go to pray, and I meet my neighbor. So he told me, please join me, and I'll take you to a prayer synagogue. So we go there, and then we finish, and then we get out. It was already daytime, and the place looks familiar to me. So I call my mom and I ask her, what was the synagogue that my great-grandfather used to pray? She tells me it's called Yagel Yaakov, and my neighbor says, I can't believe it, it's here in front. So we go in front, and I talk to the administrator of the synagogue, the Gabbai, and I tell him that my grandfather was Ezra Cohen. He says, I can't believe it. He was sitting in this corner, and he takes me to a wall where there's a sign with all the donors of the synagogue. My grandfather was the last in the list, but with the biggest amount of donation. Then I understood I was at the right place at the right time.